Namaste, beautiful yogis. This is gonna be an intermediate to advanced class, Vinyasa flow with elements of power yoga. Let's begin at the front of our mat. Roll the shoulders back and down, lengthening through the crown of the head, lifting the arches of the feet and grounding through the feet into the earth. Beginning to cultivate Ujjayi breath, nice deep inhalations, followed by complete exhalations. And let's step the feet hip width apart, open the arms out to the sides, drop the shoulders. Relax the chin, look over your right arm and back to center, and let's bring the chin over to the left, keeping the chin level with the floor. And back to center. And let's turn all the way over, looking over the right arm. A nice twist. Back to center. And let's exhale over to the left. And back to center. Big breath in, reach over your head. Lengthen. And let's grab the right wrist with the left hand and do a side stretch, looking up, back to center. Take the left wrist with your right hand, keeping the elbows aligned and the shoulders aligned. Reach over. And back to center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release your hands down. And we're gonna bring the left hand on the hips, right hand up and over the head. You can look up at your hand if it doesn't bother your neck, otherwise you can look forward or down. And let's switch sides. Take the left arm up and over. Lengthen and try to relax your shoulder as you do that. And back to center. Inhale your arms out. And release your hands, and we're going to swing side to side here, keeping your body relaxed, softening, allowing for the body to warm up here. The spine is warming up. The heels can be coming off the floor, twisting side to side. Allow the gravity to help with this movement. Your hands are heavy and guiding the movement. And slowly come back to center. And let's step the feet together. Inhale, lift and reach up towards the ceiling. And sit back in chair pose. Inhale, lift one more time, coming out of chair. And exhale, folding forward into a forward bend. You can shake your head yes and no here, relaxing your neck. Letting the tension in your neck release. Finding a place of relaxation in your face muscles, jaw, neck, shoulders. And let's wrap the wrist around the elbows, hanging like a rag doll. Allowing your upper body to be heavy here. Release the hands down on the floor and bring them on your hips. Back is straight and come up all the way to standing. Lift mountain pose, reaching over your head. Exhale, folding into forward bend one more time, straight back. Inhale, lift and look ahead of you. And let's bring the hands down on the floor and step into plank. Nice, strong plank. Press the heels away from you, open the chest, widen the back. The spine is long, the belly is strong. Spread the fingers open and lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, roll the shoulders back and down. Opening the space between the collarbones. Back to chaturanga and exhale, downward facing dog. Pressing the tailbone as high as you can up towards the ceiling. Pulling the belly in and up. And you can swing your hips side to side here, stretching the hamstrings one at a time. At the same time, your hands are pressing down, you're staying grounded. Inhale, right leg comes up, roll your right hip open on top of your left hip, bend the knee and allow your foot to drop behind you. Lift through your knee here and breathe into your hip. Allow for openness to occur. And step it back down. Let's inhale the left leg up. Roll your left hip on top of the right, bend the knee, drop the heel behind you, really lifting through your knee, pressing the opposite heel down into the floor and breathing into your hamstrings, inner thighs, hips. Breathe into wherever you feel tightness. And step the foot back down into downward facing dog at the Mukha Svanasana. Let's come back to plank, shoulders over the wrists, inner thighs squeezing towards the midline. Take your right knee in towards the elbow. Second time. 3. Squeeze it in. And you can step it back down. Left side, knee towards the left elbow. 1, 2, 3. Try not to swing your hips here and step it back down. Lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, belly in. Tuck the tailbone under, extending, lengthening the lower back. Back to chaturanga, back to plank. And let's take the right knee across left elbow. Second time. Third time. Over to the left side. Right elbow 1. Second time. 3. And you can step it back down. One more time, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, lengthening the back of your neck here. Back to chaturanga, back to downward facing dog. Pull the belly in and up, Uddiyana Bandha. And let's step the feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, forward fold. Straight back. And let's bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Open the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, as if the hands are reaching away from each other. Reach all the way forward and bring it back down. And let's go over to the other side. Reach up with your left hand. Relax your shoulder, reach way ahead of you. And lower down. Straight back, come up to standing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to prayer. Chair pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands on the floor. Forward bend. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Look ahead of you. Hands on the floor. Stepping back, plank. Strong belly. Right leg comes up and between the elbows and back. Second time, squeeze it in and back. Third time, lift and back. 4, lift as high as you can towards your chest and back. And 5. And you can step it back down and over to the left side. Left leg comes up, knee comes in between the elbows. 1, 2. Third time. 4. And last one. 5, squeeze it in, pause. And step it back down. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Lift and open the chest. Chaturanga, exhale, downward facing dog. Allow your heels to drop down towards the floor. And let's inhale the right leg up. Step your right foot between your hands. Stay on the ball of the left foot and come up for high lunge here. Extending the tailbone down, pull the belly in, lift through the crown of your head, keep the chest open. Let's clasp the hands and reach over to the right side. This is a small side bend. Just allow a small stretch to occur in your obliques. And back to center, open your hands out to the sides, and you're gonna spin over all the way to your right and maybe look back. And let's bring the left hand down on the floor, right hand reaches up. Roll on the outer edges of your feet, and we're gonna stack the feet on top of each other. Hips are on top of each other, shoulders on top of each other. Side plank to plank. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg comes up. Step your left foot between your hands. Press the back heel away from you and come up high lunge. Relax your shoulders. Let's clasp the hands and reach all the way over to the left side, keeping the hips level and square. And let's open the arms out and spin your chest over to your left side. Maybe look back behind you. And we're gonna lower the right hand down on the floor. Left arm reaches up. And let's roll the outer edge of the right foot on the floor. Bring the left foot on top of your right side plank on the right side. Hips are on top of each other. Right shoulder over the right wrist. And all the way to plank. And chaturanga. Inhale, open the chest, open the heart. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pull the belly in and up. Relax your head, face muscles, neck. And let's walk the feet between the hands. Exhale, forward bend. Grab your feet or grab your calves. Deepen your forward bend. And let's straighten the back and come all the way up to standing. Hands over the heart. And let's take chair pose. Inhale, reach all the way over your head. Exhale, hands on the floor, forward bend. Inhale, look ahead of you. And let's bring the hands on the floor, spread the fingers open, step back into plank. Strong core, squeeze the inner thighs towards the midline. Pull the belly in, open the chest. Look a few inches in front of you, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog, tuck the tailbone under and lengthen the back of your neck. Back to chaturanga and exhale in downward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears, press into the base of each finger. Inhale, right leg comes up. Step the right foot between your hands, stay on the ball of the left foot and reach all the way up into high lunge. Extending the tailbone down here, pull the belly in, keep your hips square and level. And let's bring the hands over the heart in prayer. Bring your chest over your right thigh and spin the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Open the chest here, using your arm, the lever of your elbow to open the chest a little deeper here. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, create space. Inhale, coming out of this twist, back to high lunge, and let's shift our weight onto the right foot, coming into warrior 3. Level the hips with the floor and flex your left foot. Bend the right knee, straighten it. Bend it one more time, easy, and straighten. And one last time. Let's open the arms out into airplane and bring the left hand on the floor. Right hand reaches up into revolving half moon pose. Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. Hips are level with the floor. Slowly bring your hands back in prayer and step all the way back into high lunge. Reach all the way over your head, maybe extend and lower down all the way to the floor. Step back in plank, chaturanga, vinyasa. Upward facing dog and back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pull the belly in and up in Uddiyana Bandha. Come back to your breath. Maintain a steady, relaxed breath. Take in really deep inhalations, complete exhalations. Take the left leg up and step the left foot between your hands. Stay on the ball of the right foot and come up. High lunge. Extending the tailbone down. Let's bring the hands over in prayer. And we're gonna lower the chest over the left thigh. The next step is to bring the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Open the chest, widen the back, drop the shoulders. Exhale, soften your belly. Go a little deeper in this twist. Work with your exhalations to deepen your twists. They have a great detoxifying effect on all your internal organs. Let's come out of this and shift the weight onto the left leg for warrior 3. And we're gonna bend the left knee and come back up. One more time bending and coming up. Keep the hips level. One last time. And let's bring the right arm down, left arm reaches up into revolving half moon pose. Keep the hip square, press the left hip away from you, lengthening the obliques. You can look up or to your side. And let's bring both hands back down into warrior 3 and slowly step all the way back into high lunge. And as you exhale, you can bring your hands back down on the floor. Step back in plank. Press the heels away from you. Inner thigh squeezing towards the midline. Upward facing dog. Optional second chaturanga and back to downward facing dog. Let's step the feet between the hands, forward bending. Straight back, inhale, reach all the way over your head, hands in prayer. Bend the knees, inhale, lift and reach over your head. Exhale, hands on the floor and prepare for crow's pose. Bring your knees high onto your arms and jump in chaturanga or walk in chaturanga or practice your jump. Inhale, upward facing dog. Back to chaturanga, exhale in downward facing dog. Right leg comes up. Step your right foot between your hands and come up. High lunge on the right side. Let's bring the hands in prayer one more time and twist one more time. Here we're gonna take it to the next level. Left elbow on the outside of the right knee, and you can extend one hand on the floor. One reaches up all the way up, opening the chest. You can stay here, or you can go to the third level, bringing both hands on the floor and shifting your weight onto your arms and hands, lifting your legs off the floor into an arm balance. You can pause and practice here, or you can jump back in chaturanga and continue with the flow. Inhale, upward facing dog and back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog, pressing the heels down. Let's lift the left leg up. Step the left foot between your hands and come up. High lunge. Hands over the heart. And let's exhale the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Extending one hand down. Reach with your left arm up. Either stay here or play with your arm balances. Bring the hands on the floor. Bring your left knee high onto your right arm and lift your feet off the floor. Toes are active. Jumping in chaturanga. Upward facing dog, chaturanga, downward facing dog. Great. let's bend the knees and prepare to jump. Jump into forward bend, softly landing. Exhale, folding. Straight back. Inhale, come up to standing. Exhale the hands over your forehead and over your heart. Inhale, lift and reach over your head. And let's glide the right hand down the right leg. Left arm reaches up and over into a side bend. Try to lengthen both sides of the body here. Come up and over to the other side, really lengthening both obliques. Come back up. And let's bring the hands over the heart. Inhale one more time, reach over your head. Chair pose, Utkatasana. Hands over the heart, and let's bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Extend one hand down, one up. And you can go for side crow. Bring your knee on top of your arm and lift your heels up towards the sky and back. Once you're in chair here, step your left foot all the way back into high lunge or lunge. Keeping the twist, the next level is to clasp your hands behind your back, drop the shoulders down, and as you exhale, go a little deeper in this twist. We are building the sequence, getting deeper into our twists and into the detoxifying effect of this class. Slowly, hands on the floor and up. Step back into chair at the front of your mat. And let's prepare for the other side. Right elbow, left knee, the chest is open. Extending, right hand on the floor, left arm up. Hands on the floor, side crow. Steady, gazing in front of you. Lifting the heels. Stepping back in twisting chair, and let's take the right leg all the way, stepping it back to lunge. Chest is open, and let's clasp the hands behind us, threading the right arm underneath the left leg. Inhale, come out of this, bring your hand back down on the floor and step your foot at the front of the mat, back to chair pose. Back to center. Inhale your hands over your head. And let's straighten the legs, come up. Exhale over the third eye, over the heart. Inhale one more time, lift and lengthen. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look ahead of you. And let's jump back into Chaturanga. Inhale, open the chest, upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, spin your right hip on top of your left, drop the back heel behind you and step your left foot behind you into wild thing. Lift your hips as high as you can. Open the chest. Slowly bring your hands back down on the floor. Back to plank. And let's bring the right foot underneath and across the body and flip the hips and chest up. Modified back bend on the other side. And let's drag the knee down, the shin bone down on the floor. Bringing the right heel somewhere in front of the left hip. The hips should be square. Lift your belly, lift your rib cage, lengthen the spine and slowly lower down, maintaining this alignment. The hips should be equal distance from the floor. The tailbone should be an extension of your spine. Relax your face muscles and maintain this alignment. If at any time you feel that you need to come out of pigeon a little early, you can do so safely. If you can stay in pigeon for as long as this class suggests or even longer, you can pause the video and stay for a little longer. Pigeon is extremely beneficial. It helps with alignment of the spine. It can improve your posture. It's great for people that have sciatica. It opens the glutes, the hips, the hamstrings. It's great for the quadriceps. It's very beneficial for the urinary system. It can relieve pressure in the lower back. It deepens your flexibility. Ekapada Rajakaputasana. Making sure you're breathing into your hip here and out of your hip here. To come out of pigeon, please slowly walk your hands back in towards you, keeping the hips still level, equal distance from the floor. Bend your left knee and reach back with your left hand. See if you can grab your ankle, lowering your foot back in towards you, keeping the hips down, tailbone tucked in, left hip pressing down so that you can stretch the hip flexor. And let's bring the hands down on the floor and slowly lift back up into downward facing dog, drawing circles with your right knee. Draw circles as big as you can. Circular motion is one of the best ways to improve flexibility. It's the dancer's secret. And let's lift the left leg up. Knee lifts as high as you can. If you can, step your left foot on the floor behind you and lift your hips up. Really press your hips as high as you can. We're looking for lift through the hips here. Slowly come back up and let's bring the foot across from the body, underneath the body, and open the hips over. Lifting. Let's bring the hands back down on the floor and bring the left knee on the floor, hips level and square. Lifting the belly, lifting the rib cage, elongating the spine, keeping this alignment throughout the entire pose. You can bring a block underneath your head here if your head is not reaching the floor. Make sure your neck is relaxed here. Keeping the right hip down and back, stretching back. Pigeon is one of the best poses that allows you to deeply begin to know yourself. We tend to store emotions in our tissues and especially in our hips, and hips tend to stiffen over time. So stretching the hips can lead to emotion arising. Try to stay present here and try to observe and not resist anything that may be arising. Any feelings or emotions coming up, just observe them and be grateful that you're able to release and let go. And as you breathe, allow your body to relax. Inhale through your hip and exhale through your hips, softening the tissue, allowing for tension to release. We store trauma, anxiety, stress in our tissue, in our hips. So opening the hips may make you feel as if those emotions are surfacing, but they're being released from your tissues, and you can allow them to be removed, allowing all the negative feelings to be released. You can work with visualizations here, inhaling light into the hip and exhaling muddy waters down into the earth, or muddy air down into the earth. To come out of this, begin to walk your hands back in, keep your hips down, right hip down as you reach back to grab your right ankle. Keep the hip down, don't twist, don't jerk. Breathe into your hip flexor quadriceps here, front of your thigh. And let's bring both hands down on the floor. Spread the fingers open, and we're gonna lift into one-legged downward facing dog, drawing circles with the left knee. Drawing the circles as big as you can. Step your left foot back down, coming back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale and step your right foot between your hands. Let's drop the back heel down on the floor, press into the outer edge of your left foot and come up, warrior one. Vira one. Hips are square, facing forward. Extend the tailbone down. Step a little wider and take warrior two here. You can take wider stance and you can sink a little deeper in your stance, aligning the right knee with the right ankle. Let's reach in front of us and lower the right hand on the inside of the right foot, lifting with the left arm up. You can stay here, or the next level is to clasp your hands behind you, bringing the right hand underneath your leg and left arm reaches back behind you. Either stay here or step your left foot back forward, and you're gonna stand on your left leg, coming up on one leg, holding your right leg in your clasp. Look away from your leg and try to straighten it. Bird of Paradise pose. Stay steady. This can challenge your balance, so be patient. Slowly stepping back down, and let's step all the way back into bound side angle. Beautiful. Release one hand back down on the floor and one up towards the ceiling, and let's reach up and over the head, lengthening the top part of the body. Bring both hands down on the floor and take side plank on your left side, left hand on the floor. Here we're gonna go a little deeper and do tree pose side plank. Bring the right foot into your left inner thigh and try to keep your tree pose. Take plank. Take chaturanga tree pose, upward facing dog, chaturanga, and downward facing dog. You can release now, and let's take the left leg up towards the ceiling and step it in. Warrior one. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. And let's open into warrior two. Your left knee should be pointing in the exact same direction your toes are pointed at. Slight extension of the tailbone down. Lower the left hand down. Right arm reaches up. Opening the right hip up. And see if you can clasp behind. Another detoxifying pose. Peeling the rib cage off of the thigh here. Step your back foot forward at the front of the mat, stepping on the right leg, come up standing, holding your left leg, straightening and looking all the way over to the right. And you can reverse the movement, slowly step back down and all the way back into bound side angle. And release one hand down, one up towards the ceiling and all the way over your head, palm down. Let's bring both hands down on the floor and we're gonna go into side plank, right hand on the floor. Tree pose. Bringing the left foot into the inner thigh. Try to keep your tree pose alignment here as you take a plank. Squeeze your foot into your right inner thigh. Slowly lower down, keep squeezing. Inhale, open. Back to chaturanga. And all the way back into downward facing dog. It may take some practice. Come back to your breath and let's drop the knees on the floor. We're gonna go ahead and do rabbit pose here. Bringing the top of the head down on the floor and try to walk your forehead as close to your knees as you can, maybe even touching the knees. If you can clasp your heels, do so, otherwise you can grab your ankles or calves and roll past the top of your head, putting very little weight on your head. The weight is mostly in your legs. Stretching the neck and the back. Whenever you're done, you can rest for a few moments in child's pose. Allow the shoulders to drop. And let's prepare for headstand here. The elbows should be shoulder width apart. Clasp your hands and bring your head down. Slowly begin to walk your feet in. As soon as your hips are above your shoulders, you can slowly begin to lift your legs up, pressing into your forearms. Please only do headstand if this is a part of your regular practice. To come out of headstand, slowly begin to lower your legs down and flare them out, coming into wide stance, wide forward bend. Exhale. Here in wide stance, forward bend, just grab your right leg, bringing the chest over to your right leg, keeping the hips square, and over to the left side. The hips are steady. And back to center. And let's bring the hands underneath the shoulders, left hand on the floor, right arm reaches up and forward. And over to the other side, left arm reaches up and forward. Bring them back down. And let's jump the feet together. Exhale, forward bend. And let's go into downward dog, dropping the knees down on the floor. Bring your legs in front of you for the seated part of this practice. Let's bend the right knee and bring the right ankle on the outside of the left knee. Inhale, left arm reaches up, and let's bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Half Lord of the Fishes pose. Let's flex the foot and pull the toes in towards us. Pressing the left leg down into the floor. Exhale, soften the belly and go a little deeper in this twist. let's flare the knee out here, and we're gonna bring the right ankle just above the left knee. Inhale, and if you can, bend over, or you can stay up and breathe into your right hip. This is another hip opener. Half fire log pose, Agni Stambhasana. Allowing the knee to drop away from you, flexing both feet. And you can release, and we're gonna go over to the other side. Left ankle on the outside of the right knee. Inhale, right elbow comes on the outside of your left knee. Drop the shoulders, open the chest, and lengthen through the crown of the head. And as you inhale, lengthen a little more, and as you exhale, deepen your twist a little more, softening the belly and allowing for flexibility and fluidity to occur in your spine. Keep your extended leg active, and we're gonna flare the left knee out, flexing both feet, bringing the left ankle just above the right knee. The bending forward is optional. And let's inhale and come back up. Slowly roll down on your mat, coming down all the way on your back. Take a few seconds to relax, and we're gonna go into a quick abdominal session. Let's begin to lift the legs up towards the ceiling, hands behind your neck, and begin to lift through your core up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's pulse the hand here, split the legs in scissors and pulse. Lifting through your core, keep the chest open, switch legs, and again pulsing. And we're gonna bring the hands behind the neck and reach up towards your toes. Second time, third time, 4, 5. Shifting the legs over to the other side, reach and really lift through your belly. 5. And let's bring the feet together, hovering over the floor. Reach over your head and release. You can bring the soles of your feet together in butterfly pose. Baddha Konasana. And let's bring the right knee into the chest and across into a supine twist. Soften the belly. Exhale. Let go. Coming out of this twist, let's switch sides. Left knee comes in and across. Both shoulders are on the floor, looking away from your knee so that your spine is stretching completely all the way into the neck. And coming out of this, let's lift the legs up and over the head for plough pose. Once you're in plough pose, wiggle your elbows closer to each other. Bring the hands on your lower back for support. Soften the back of your throat. You can slowly begin to lift your legs up in shoulder stand, keeping the toes active. the inner thighs squeezing towards each other. Slowly begin to lower your legs back down, bending the knees over your ears. This is a great stretch for your spine. To come out of this, slowly lower yourself down, one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Once your hips are reaching the floor, begin to slowly lower the legs. Once your legs are on the floor, prepare yourself for Savasana, or the final relaxation. Allow your feet to flare open. The palms of your hands are open up towards the ceiling. Allow the shoulders to drop down on the floor, softening the chin, keeping the tongue off the palate. And as you relax here, shift your gaze towards your third eye, the space between your eyebrows. And once you're gazing towards the third eye, shift even deeper, turning your gaze in towards your heart, staying present and aware of the sound of your heart beating. And just observe everything that may be occurring. Observing your thoughts, your emotions, allowing everything around you to disappear, and allowing yourself to be a witness, a non-participating witness, allowing your thoughts to just come and go without resistance and without response, just observing as they occur and melt away. And begin to go deeper into the essence of your being, flowing with grace and effortlessness through the layers of your consciousness, looking within with love, free of judgment and thought, just observing with true acceptance and gratitude. Accepting everything about this present moment as divine perfection, because everything is exactly where it's supposed to be, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And let's allow all past hurt and trauma to be released into the earth as we exhale, as we breathe out. And let's stay open and receptive to love and joy, beginning to take inhalations through your heart chakra, allowing your heart to blossom open, embracing freedom and life. We're shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows, like a shadow that never leaves. Siddhartha.